Right, we're live. Hi everyone. I see some familiar faces from yesterday. Welcome to day 2 of Strapi's inaugural plugin week. I see Vivek and Nicola. Welcome. Let us know where you're joining us from. What are you building? Like mentioned, today we have Remy and Mark from the engineering team. And we'll be having a sort of like a question and answer session with them, and they'll be giving us general tips as they are the go-to plugin people in Strapi, and seeing this is the plugin week. So hello, Paul. Also, Paul joined us, and we'll just wait for people to jump in before we kick things off. So the point of this is to come with all your questions. So keep them ready. Very soon we'll start to go through all of them. And yeah, I'm sure this will be a very, very fun session. Do you want to do like quick intros for those who might not know who you are, Remy and Mark?
Sure, we can do that.
Sure. Want to go ahead, Mark?
Yeah, I can go ahead. My name's Mark. I work on the expansion squad at Strapi, so we work on plugins and anything that Strapi connects to, and anything that connects to Strapi. And that's about it.
Yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Remy. Also software engineer at Strapi and do some full stack development. I've been here for almost a couple of years. And our work is in the same team as Mark. So like working on, again, the ecosystem. So one of our big topics is the marketplace, but also we're currently planning the custom fields, which we're pretty excited about.
Custom fields.
Yeah, dropping a little teaser in there.
Do you want to tease us a little bit more? I think you released the RFC for that, right?
Yeah, we do. We even have 2 RFCs actually. Because first of all, Raf, which is who is the product the product designer in our team, first submitted a functional RFC, which was about what a custom field can and cannot do, and with like the designs and examples of use cases, etc. But we also lately submitted the technical RFC, which is about how the API is implemented, so that you as plugin developers can try to like imagine once that new thing is shipped, because it's going to be shipped as part of the plugin API, so that you can try to imagine what different things you'll actually be able to build, what tools you'll have at your disposal, and yeah, just to get your feedback about the technical direction that we're currently taking.
Sounds good. I just found the 2 links to the RFCs, and I'll share them just in case someone wants to check them out. I think that's going to be a pretty cool feature once they're out, that a lot of people will love. And maybe we will have a custom field hackathon sometime soon. So if people like it enough, I guess why not? But thank you, Remy, for sharing. Okay, I think we've let people sort of like drizzle in, and while we wait for questions, by the way, I'll leave that open. If you have any questions, now's a good time to start asking them about the plugin API, building plugins, or making plugins in Strapi. So, or if you've got like a plugin idea that you want to validate, that would be awesome. Okay, so to kick things off, I want to start out with some gotchas. Remy, Mark, what are some things that people should be wary of as they build plugins for Strapi, from your experience?
Do you want me to go ahead, Mark?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that's definitely a big question. But one first thing that we thought we might address at first is like where you can actually find the information you need to build your plugins, because it's true that it's been kind of spread around in different places. So we have a guideline for the marketplace, which is useful for when you have a plugin and you want to put you want to make sure as much as you can that it's going to be approved and that you're going to have a quick process to get it submitted to the marketplace. So that's one resource. For the more technical part, like everything you need to know about plugins development should be in the documentation. We have one section dedicated to the server API, which is everything backend related. Another one dedicated to the admin API. But also from personal experience, what another tip that I think I can share is that when you're not sure where to find something in the documentation, what I personally do is I try to explore the code of existing plugins. Because, for example, when you start wondering, like, hey, how does the internationalization plugin do to create a model in a certain place in Strapi? Like, that's something that I cannot know right on the top of my head based on the Strapi docs. But in that case, it's really useful to try to explore the code base, because in the Strapi monorepo, we have several plugins which implement the plugin API just like any other plugins. So that's definitely, if you have more time, if you're willing to do a bit more digging, that's definitely where you'll find so many more learnings about the plugin API. And you want to talk about the canny stuff, maybe, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a gotcha or really, I mean, if you're just looking for an initial idea for something a plugin to develop, I think a good place to start is the canny board that we have where people vote on plugins that they would like to see developed. So that can be a good place to get inspiration and and find out something that people will probably use if you develop it. So
That's a
something I was
great
going to
point.
mention.
I'll just drop the link to
Has-
the Cunny board. By the way, I saw Coder Nerd was asking was mentioning rather that they have a lot of plugin ideas and they want to build too. I mean, we're having a hackathon right now, so now is the perfect time to build. And also, feel free to share what those plugins might be, and we can potentially discuss those. And like I mentioned again, if you've got any questions, keep them coming. But anyway, back to you, Mark.
Yeah, my other tip or something to keep in mind is the design system. Like encourage everybody to explore the design system. Maybe even before development, to go to the storybook. We have a storybook for the design system where you can see different components and sort of play around with them and see how they're used. So you can get an idea of all the components that you might need to use in your plugin even before you start developing. So I think that can be a good way to get started when you're getting started. Yeah. Because as we mentioned when we showed the guidelines, especially for V4 plugins, you're required to use a design system. So.
And maybe another tip I can add, which is probably lesser known if you're working with like front-end components. So for the admin part of a plugin, is that you can use a component generator that we have created in the Strapi monorepo. So it's a little tool that we built, which is based on Plop, which is a library to generate like boilerplate to generate like files and code for you. And so I would have to take a couple of minutes to find the exact command, but so the concept is that from the root of your Strapi the root of your Strapi application, you'd have access to a Plop generator to create some specific files inside of your admin folder, so that all the basic React boilerplate is created for you.
Nice, yeah, that would be nice to see. And I'll just share the link to the design system that Mark talked about. Right. So I think we've covered like the code side of things, um, and the things to think about, and on the front end side also with the design system. What about interfacing with the content manager or the or extending the APIs via the plugin API? What are some things you've seen there?
Well, I think like Remy mentioned earlier, my main tip is for the plugin API is really to look at the documentation. Otherwise, I don't know, Remy, do you have another tip?
Yeah, so if you want to really hook into the UI of the product of the Strapi admin, the general direction that you want to look for is our feature called injection zones, which is part of the Strapi admin API, and basically it lets you in specific places in the Strapi admin. It lets you inject your own components, and you also have access to several hooks to get some information about the context of where that component is used. So that can be used for really to create really like meaningful interactions between your plugin and the Strapi admin and its content. And it's actually part of what we actually built in the StrapiConf workshop about the plugin API. So that would be like the first main tip to hook into the Strapi admin. But there's also another one which is a bit less used, which is the hooks that you can use. So hooks are places in like are part of the Strapi admin. So both the content manager and the content type builder, where you can also inject your own behavior. It's a bit different. Like it's not exactly the same as injection zones because it's not just injecting a component, but it can be things like adding a new row, adding a new column in the list view of the content manager, for example. So for that kind of things, we also have like a bunch of hooks that you can use to customize the admin to your liking.
Yeah, those are pretty cool ones. Injection zones are definitely one of my favorite features that were brought into V4. So thanks for sharing.
And actually, since I think people coming to this stream probably know a bit about the admin API already. So to go even one level deeper, what you can also do with the plugin API is to register a new injection zone from your plugin so that other plugins can like import, like add components inside of your own plugin. And I think that's a really cool composition concept, which you could use to build like really advanced stuff.
Nice. Even I haven't got into that, but I think the hackathon is a good opportunity to do just that. What plugins do you know that use that you mentioned?
I'm actually not sure if there's anyone using it yet because, well, I mean, it's part of the plugin API because, well, as I said just before, like many parts of the Strapi code base are implemented like plugins. So for example, the content manager is technically implements the plugin API, and that's why like the content manager needs to register an injection zones for other plugins, and that's why it's available to the plugin API. But that means that other plugins can start implementing it on their own. But I don't know. Like, do you know any plugin that uses it already, Mark?
I can't think off the top of my head, no.
But like, I was thinking of using it in one of my own plugins, work in progress. But it's not definitely not done yet.
Do you wanna tease the plugin you're working on a bit?
Sure, why not? So I've been working a bit on and off on a command palette plugin. So the concept of it is that like it's only a front-end plugin, it only impacts your Strapi admin. And so from any page inside of Strapi, you can use a command shortcut like Command K, and you get this this model that pops up where you can have like very quick access to specific pages in Strapi. Like you can type, for example, content manager, it's going to autocomplete. You press enter, and you'll be directed like straight to another page. So it's really a command palette, kind of what GitHub and Slack and Notion already do, but inside of Strapi. And yeah, and so for the injection zones part, I was thinking that it would be cool if other plugins could list items that the command palette could search for. And so I was thinking that one of the ways that I could get different plugins to interact in that context would be to expose an injection zone.
That's actually, oops, I think I'm muted. Sorry. I was saying that's actually a really cool feature, or a really cool plugin that interfaces with a bunch of them, and then you can just quickly run a bunch of things that a lot of other plugins do, just from that. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I definitely will be using that plugin once it's out. And just to say that we've got just under 5 minutes for anyone watching, so now's a good time to ask your questions before we run away to Discord and hang out with the people there on a stage. I see there's a question from S. Shall I bring this to the front? So how is the schema of the tables? Are they clean? Can we use them somewhere else later? I'm not really sure if that's clear for the both of you. Or shall we get some clarification?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand it completely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not sure what you're referencing with the tables, especially.
Yep. Could you please give us a bit more clarification? I think we have another question here. So when creating a content type with Strapi Generate and you select yes for Bootstrap API related files, what does Strapi generate under the hood?
What it does in that case is that instead of just creating a new like schema.json file, which only just creates the content type in Strapi, it's going to create the API for you. So technically, it means creating a controller, creating a route, and creating a service, which are the three things that you need so that you can query your content saying like my Strapi apps / API / my new content type. That only works if you have the route, the controller, and the service, and that's exactly what the generator does for you.
Or you can say no and just create only your content type.
That's the beautiful thing about Strapi, options. Thanks for the question, and thanks for the answers, Mark and Remy. If there are no questions, we will hop off soon, but this has been really nice. Thanks for the context. We'll definitely be sharing the recording of this because Mark and Remy shared some really interesting tidbits on building plugins. So let's see, I think there's a question there on, in some parts of StrapiConf, we saw someone mention a predefined hook. Do we have a list of those documented?
So
I think
would that
the
be the hooks, like the hooks that I mentioned about like adding columns to the table and things like that, like Strapi admin hooks?
hook lifecycle hooks maybe also. Could you specify a bit more, Nicola? And we could probably answer that. If we don't answer that, by the way, just like you can join our Discord and we'll be covering some of those questions if you want to have a chat. Um, there's another one on why does Strapi use so much memory when rebuilding, and does the plugins? I think that's, I don't know. Maybe Remia and Mark, you can answer that. But I think we had a release recently that really took the build time and memory usage down. So I'd say update your Strapi app. Do you have anything else to say to that?
Well, maybe just about the why it's so long to build. Well, it's because a Strapi application is pretty complex. You have many files, you have many settings, and you have to like fetch all of the front end files from all of the different plugins of your Strapi application. So it means like it's like you were building several applications at the same time just to get that one unified experience. And it's something that we choose to do because we want to have like cross browser compatibility. We want it to be able to run pretty much everywhere. And we want the production experience, like the live experience, to be very smooth. So we want to have everything compiled ahead of time. And that's why with the current state of Webpack and JavaScript tooling, it can take a bit of time and memory to build that.
Very important context. Thank you, Remy. I think we got some clarification on the hook. I think this will be our last question, and then we jump over into the Discord. So a hook like inject column in table, yeah. So that's the type of hook that we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So the initial question was where can we find the list? Is that right?
Yeah, or is there a list? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, gonna try to find it.
I'm not sure that there is a list. But I have to see how that's used. I don't remember exactly how that's used.
So what hook is that? Like which part of the Strapi sort of stack
Well,
does it fit into?
I think if I remember correctly, you're able in the plugin API, you were able to register hooks in different places in the admin. And there are specific places where you can register a hook that you want to use. I think that's what I remember. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Remy.
No, I do think that's right. And so about the what part of the plugin API does it fit into? So it's part of the admin API, and I just sent you a link, Daniel, which is not a list, but which gives context regarding what hooks are and how you can use them. And so basically there are two parts, kind of like the injection zones actually. You can hook into an existing Strapi defined hook, or you can let your plugin create its own hook so that you can have plugin to plugin interactions.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks for sharing that. And how to use roles and permissions with plugin development. Shall we go and answer that one in the Discord? We're actually right on time.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Edward and everyone watching, well, going over into the Strapi Discord, there's a stage called Plugin Hackathon Q&A, and Remy and Mark will be continuing the conversation there with a bunch of the other people in the community. But thank you so much again, Remy and Mark, for coming on to our YouTube and our Twitch to talk to people and share a lot of your wisdom on building plugins. So everyone, see you in the Discord. I'll just send another, well, I'll highlight it here. Here it is. in case you wanna type that. But yeah, see you there. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.